8:45 a.m. on this Monday morning, returning once again to observe the skies. May 18th, 2026. Yep, they've done a great job whitewashing the skies this morning. They've been very busy. If we can see, it's very difficult to see because of all the crap in the atmosphere, which of course brings about the typical results that we can see coming on. Yeah, indicators of precipitation, right? Or actually indicators of just how much additional water vapor has been applied to the skies. We'll just stick with that condensation narrative, shall we? I think I'm getting this, I don't know. Yeah, I am. And more likely because of the sky conditions. Here we go. We've got us a nice sundog that's coming on, although once again because of the skies, and apparently because they, you got to take into account all the reports of what is being put into the atmosphere, because now recent reports are stating salt, which, well, I've known that for quite some time, just because of my observations to the trees, and not only that, to my own body. Thirst, okay? Dehydration, which is part of the narrative today. Even though we have gotten so much moisture here in the state of Michigan to where, well, ironically, one of the first years in recent memory to where we have not started off with drought conditions or enduring drought conditions throughout the last, 5 years? Well, now we got a surplus of moisture here in Michigan, but already they're saying, hey, conditions are already to that point to where this coming up weekend in celebration of Memorial Day, please be careful with your fires and your fireworks, as conditions are such to where wildfires could kick off because we've gotten so much moisture. Yeah, I was just going to come out here and record this and not really provide a narrative, but you know what? This guy just cannot keep his mouth shut. There's just too much to actually talk about today. And unfortunately, that's just what's happening. It's just talk. Nothing but talk, talk, talk. Nothing is being done, in many cases, to the talking points or narratives that's out there today. It's just like with AI. It'd be very easy to stop the progression of that nonsense. No, they want to keep it going. So instead of fighting the corporations, well, it's easier just to go ahead and have congressional hearings over regulations. Yeah, let's keep the crap continuing on, right? And I have yet to find any beneficial uses to that technology, because after all, I provided so much proof and evidence to the misinformation, disinformation, false narratives that at least Google provides through their search engine. And of course, who controls this platform? Yeah, I don't care. About all these LLCs and all that. No, don't have just one marauder. It's typically a band of marauders, right? Yeah. Just like those marauders that control the skies and the weather, because that is an outcome to the sky operations, just like what we are seeing right now is a result of sky operations and nothing more. It is not natural, it is artificial, and too much of today is artificial, to where they got people actually believing that we live in a computer simulation, that we live on a flat earth. But yet there's not been any qualifying evidence of reality to support those narratives. There's not a whole hell of a lot to support a spherical earth narrative these days either. I'll tell you what, when you get watching these TV shows that came out in the mid-80s, in the mid-90s, and all the predictive programming of things to come that, well, did happen and still happening, and all the Easter eggs that can be found within these TV shows and movies. A lot of Easter eggs within the Marvel movies over the last decade. And of course, you know, everybody rants and raves about The Simpsons. I don't watch The Simpsons. I gave up on that nonsense a long time ago. But once again, what we are seeing right here is nothing more than adverse effects from what they're doing to the skies. That's it. Nothing more. And that's where we shall end this. Oh yeah, I was talking about them spreading salt. Okay. Of course, they also spread dirt. Did you hear about all the black dust that came down in, what was it, Minnesota? I don't know. I have not gone down that rabbit hole of research, find out exactly what that was all about, but now this is going to be a year to where we're going, you know, if they continue with these operations, they are going to ramp up that much more. And we're going to have so many issues with the fallout from overhead. And I've shown many examples of stuff that has rained down upon me from these aircrafts overhead. And it's not just rain, okay? But, you know, you'd have to go through my content to understand. And not just watch the most recent videos that come out. I try to go back into people's content to the, you know, where they began, and try to watch as their channel evolves and possibly grows through the content that they provide. But, you know, now, if I'm not recording, I'm uploading, and I don't get an opportunity to do anything other than that. Once again, ever since the infiltration of AI into this device, it has slowed everything down. Battery consumption is unbelievable. And the duration of time that it takes just to post a 5-minute video, and people wonder why I have compilation videos to where I throw them all together. Yeah, it's easier to deal with a couple of hours to post a lot of content rather than posting shorter videos and multiple videos and having to deal with the time durations of each upload in that style. of progression. No, it's easier just to do the compilation videos, set the phone in one spot, hooked up to the power cord, let it do its own thing. And I am so far behind on my watch later selections. I'm thinking about just doing away with my whole watch later list. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of that is stuff from you guys and your content. And I can't even take time to watch that. And I don't watch video shorts. Very rarely will I watch a video short. Once again, I had my time on TikTok. That's why I only have but a handful of video shorts myself. Been there, done that, don't need a repeat. I'll just continue to do what I do. And that's what I'm doing. Alright, this is fading off. Going to more of just an aura, if you will. Or a halo. Yeah, whatever. We are done. This Skyway's out. 9:45 a.m. this Monday morning, May 18th, 2026. At least yeah, okay. Making sure that I got the date correct. Well, we can still see evidences up here of activities that has been taking place and unfolding, and of course we still have further evidences of such to these artificially created halos, of which I refer to as being rings. Not strong, but they're there. Now then, there's a reason for this recording, and it's not really pursuant to these sky observations that we are taking in. Nope, we just might have to have a little bit of a change to our content for a bit, as new revelations have come about from past observations. I'll go into a little bit more detail momentarily. We've got a little bit of a breeze, so we might get some more, getting some more stuff blowing from the roof, which is a collection of these blossoms here that are dying really quick. And like I stated in yesterday's content, typically these are knocked down through winds and rain on an annual basis, but this year they are actually dying on the branches, and yeah, of course, releasing their petals from the blossoms. Now then, let's go into what I actually want to speak upon. Which I will have to, well, grab one of my props real quick in order to do so. Hang tight. We'll be back. Well, for those that actually follow my channel and the content thereof and therein, you might remember these. My Nile fortune cards. Antique. Which looks like this on one side. And on the other side we have all four edges being lined with messages that is not focusing. See, I can't even focus on anything anymore. Freaking AI infiltration of my device. But anyways, so for quite some time I was focusing in on my readings through these cards, as well as through my deck of angel cards, and in conjunction with many readings through multiple channels on this platform, and their readings through tarot cards and other types of cards. Well, now, this is the case at hand, and the case that be is that most of what I showed and those past videos pertaining to readings and spirituality and so on and so forth are now becoming a reality. And I am not BSing anyone. And I plan on going a little bit further into exposing and explaining the factor of these past readings and my life today, and what has recently begun to occur, which once again was accurately predicted through multiple readings, through multiple readers, through multiple channels, most of which being Gemini related, as that is my zodiac sign. But then, of course, as well as many certain videos pertaining to the collective, not the karmic, but the collective, of which I have viewed myself as being right along. Oh my, oh my. And now we have Goldie and Vulture, my two main hens that I interact with at the base of the feeding tree. So anyways, yes, many new revelations have been coming about, epiphanies in regards to these past readings. I don't ask any of you to believe in any of it. I don't care if you believe or not. Because just like beauty being in the eye of the beholder, well, I have beholden many cards in my hands that have paralleled many readings through this platform, past readings, and through their cards. And I've shown this. And now, because there is not a timetable pertaining to readings, but there are many identification markers that can come up that will show that you are on the right path through these readings. And that's what I have been realizing just recently. I didn't think the readings were going to actually transpire into reality. And they have done just that, or beginning to. The signs are there. Those markers to be aware of. The signs. Everybody keeps waiting for signs in the skies. Well, they've been there. But maybe you need to go a little bit deeper. Spiritually, not religiously. Because through religion, everybody has misconstrued many so-called prophecies because of religious programming. And so you won't see the real light, if you will, the enlightenment of knowledge of what you are supposed to be not only seeing, but understanding, and which understanding is just another form of seeing. and too many people are blind. Well, this is part of my awakening process right here, and has been. And now I am getting more proof and evidences coming my way that these past readings are a thing of reality. I've had people, past subscribers, butt heads with me, try to refute my claims, try to debate those claims. They're gone. I'm here, and I am seeing the results and outcomes from these past readings actually coming to what? Light. Becoming real. I'm seeing the light in many factors and forms. What about you? Like I said, I plan on exposing that much more over the realities that can be found through such things as tarot cards, fortune cards, and the like. And this is something to where I've lost subscribers over. And that in itself proves a lot. On that note, Skywise out. More than likely, this will be the conclusion to this Monday morning's recordings, as I am so far behind in content. It is ridiculous. And not because my content is lengthy, or at least not until I create a compilation video. And once again, it's easier to deal with a compilation video rather than to try to upload and post each and every individual video, just because they are short in length, until once again combined together within a compilation presentation. But I think I have presented enough this morning through these observations and my narrations. So on that note, once again, Skywise out.